Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's broadcast. This is Dustin Weaver. I'll be working with you today on a couple things. We're basically going to be talking about synchronous instruction. So, as we look through today's presentation covers synchronous instruction in Lincoln County schools. And synchronous instruction is nothing new to us as teachers, but it is something that we're going to implement on a regular basis here in the second semester here in Lincoln County for our middle and high school students. So specifically, I teach math at Lincoln High School, and so I may go into some of the things that may be more content specific, but I'm going to try to give you a broad understanding of how to set up synchronous instruction, how to make it as easy as possible for you, and how to implement it starting next semester for our students that choose remote learning or maybe in cohort A or B when it's not their time. So I will start this presentation. The first thing is, how are we going to do synchronous instruction? So synchronous instruction is going to be given to students who are not attending face-to-face that school day. These students may be remote students who do not attend at all, so they may get this live synchronous instruction every day, or they may be in the other cohort like we talked about in our Plan B schedule. We're going to utilize the webcams that were provided by Lincoln County Schools to provide live learning to these students during their regular class period time. So I'm actually using one of these webcams right now on my desktop computer to broadcast this presentation to you to show you how synchronous instruction would be working. And the goal of this synchronous instruction is this picture right here, where the teacher and the learners, the teachers and the students are communicating with each other no matter how far or how close they are. So we want students at home to be communicating instantly with us as teachers. When they don't understand something, we don't want it to be weeks later before they let us know. We want them to let us know right then that they don't understand it, or they need us to repeat that or go through it one more time with an example. And hopefully this is going to add to that process. So what programs can we use to provide synchronous learning? There are many programs obviously available to you throughout the internet, but the two main ones that I'm going to focus on today, and the two that our district has focused on, is Google Meet and Zoom. Google Meet ties right into your email and your web calendar for the Lincoln County Schools. So I'm going to myself say that is my choice of which to use. But Zoom is also a very good platform that I've used for many years as well. So we're going to look at both as we go through today's session. So first thing we're going to look at is how to use Google Meet to provide instruction. And I'm going to show you some examples as I do this for you, so you're not just reading off of the screen. So brief tutorial of how to use Google Meet to give live instruction to your students is you're going to schedule a Google Meet, which is basically like scheduling a class. By going to your calendar and selecting the time for your class, and then add Google Meet video conference option. You could schedule this as a recurring meeting that occurs each day of the entire semester, so you don't have to give out multiple links throughout the year. Once you actually get into the Google Meet, you can hit record, and you're actually able to record your live instruction in that Google Meet. So let's go through kind of how this might work. So I'm going to take you to my email, and on my email, over here in the top right is a calendar. So I click on the calendar, and I'm going to set up a Google Meet class for next semester. So January 11th is our first day of classes, right, next semester. So if I click on January 11th, let's say that my first period class, I'm going to set it up to begin at 7:55 a.m. and end at 9:30 a.m., as was our schedule this semester at Lincoln High School. If you want to add guests, the nice thing about this is I can begin to type in, and I can just add all my students that are in that class by typing in their name, and they're going to get a personalized invitation, and they can actually get an invitation each day to join that. Now, right below the time that I set up for this meeting, I'm going to title it. Obviously, it is first period AP Statistics would be the name of mine. Starts Monday, January 11th, 7:55 to 9:30. It now does not repeat, so I want it to repeat. So I'm going to change this to, I would like it to be every weekday, Monday through Friday. Now, obviously, there may be some holidays where I have to go cancel one, but generally that's what it's going to be. It's going to be every weekday, Monday through Friday. And I am going to add a Google Meet video conference. So there it now has a link to that. You can view the details. There's a link to it. You can look at that later. But there's a link to the Google Meet. And then as we look forward, it will give them it asks when you would like an alert. Do you want one 10 minutes before, 5 minutes before, how often? And then it shows my name here and everything else. All right, so I'm going to save this. And there is my Google Meet, 7:55 to 9:30. If you look on my calendar, it is there every day. And it will continue until I stop it, right, at the end of the semester. So let's click on that Google Meet. And maybe I want to go ahead and start it just to show you guys how you would do that. You would go to your calendar and you would just click Join with Google Meet. And so I'll click Join with Google Meet. And when I do that, it's going to say, are you ready to join? It tells me that there's nobody else there right now, which there wouldn't be. And it tells me that I'm using my camera and my microphone. So I can go ahead and click Join Now. And now you're seeing my presentation. Okay. So what I can do, I can turn off my camera if I want to. I can do many different things. But the main thing you're going to do is if you're using your screen, if you're using your the screen that you would use, and I'm going to turn this off for that. But if you're using the screen for the Google Meet, what you would want to do is you would want to click Present Now. When you click Present Now, it asks you, do you want to present a tab, which would be just the tab that you're on, a whole window, or your entire screen? And you can choose either, or you can click the three dots and you can make sure to go through down here and turn on your webcam so you can present using your webcam. If you are using your webcam to look at the board, it may look backwards on yours. That's okay. If it looks backwards on your screen, like it's mirrored, like the text is backwards on the board, it actually on a student screen will show forwards. It actually shows correctly on the student screen, even though it may show backwards on yours when you're recording. So let's say we're waiting, the class is getting ready to start. Everybody's coming in. My students are coming into the classroom. My students are logging in online. I'm taking attendance. And then now I'm ready to go into my live instruction. So I'm going to click on Record Meeting. When I do that, it's going to ask for consent. So it says recording a meeting without the consent of all participants may be illegal and everything. So basically, it's going to tell all the people in that meeting that, hey, we're recording. And so you are on a recording, right? Then once that you're done with your live instruction, which may be 30 minutes, it may be 45 minutes, it may be a little bit longer. It may just depend on that class period. But once you're done with your direct and live instruction, then you can click stop recording. And at that point, it's going to stop. And that doesn't mean that you've ended the meeting. It just means that you've stopped the recording. That would be what I would upload to Canvas, would be my direct instruction, that recording. But now I'm going to leave my meeting on, and I'm going to utilize this chat function over here to send students a message and ask them, are there any questions, right? Or continue, as they are working, they may come up with questions. They may want to talk. They may want me to show them something else on the screen, and I can do that. So students can stay logged in as they're working on the day's assignment. So typically how this would work is, you could set up your course to where you're teaching a lesson or a topic that day, and then in the second half of the class, there is an assignment for them to work on independently. But the great thing about this synchronous learning is they're not alone, right? They have other students on here that may be asking questions. They can see those, and they also have direct access to us as a teacher, even though they're not in the classroom. So that's a great thing that you're able to do with this. When the class period ends at 9:30, you'll just go and you can click on the X up here, and it will end your meeting at any time. You can say end the call or leave the call, and it will end your meeting, and everything will be done. For students to see you well, you want them to change their layout to where it's spotlight, and spotlight means it's basically going to just look at you, and you want them also to go and make it full screen so they have the whole screen and it'll be big on their computer. You can make sure that you're pinned to the main screen. You see this button right here beside you. You can click it. It says pin to screen. Make sure that you're pinned to the screen and not another student. That way they're seeing you in the spotlight and you full screen. So you can kind of teach your students to do that. And those are all some great things. There's definitely host controls you can do. You can make this to where you don't want students to share their screen. You can look at other settings that there are. If you don't want students to be able to chat or to talk, you can mute all the students as they come in so that they're not talking over you until you're done with your direct instruction. So that is the Google Meet part of synchronous learning. Okay, so you can do it just like this, where you're using your screen and going through the process, or you can go through and you can change it and make it where you're just using the webcam to look at your board. So either way would be great for synchronous instruction. All right, so let's go back to my presentation. And I think I covered all the things for Google Meet. So next this is a brief tutorial of how to use Zoom to give live instruction to your students. Now, before I go into Zoom, the Google Meet that I did, it is now set up for every day of the week. So the students have the link, and it should, as long as you invite them and they accept your invitation, that will add it to their calendar. So now their calendar in Google on their school email account is now showing that they have class 7:55 to 9:30 those days, right? And that's a great thing. So now they have a calendar. A lot of them know how to add that app. So if they add the Google Calendar app to their phones, then it will alert them, that class is about to start. It'll let them know that they have class today, that they have a meeting today. It's going to make things as normal as possible for students that are at home. All right, so next is how to use Zoom to provide instruction. There's a brief tutorial here of how to use Zoom. You can schedule a Zoom meeting by going to zoom.us and logging in with your school account. And then you're going to go to host a meeting, and you can set your date and time just like we did in Google Meet. You can set it to a recurring meeting, so it happens every day, Monday through Friday, and you can set it to happen for the entire semester or the rest of the school year. Once the Zoom meeting begins, you're going to be able to record to your local computer, and you'll have the instructional piece of your meeting recorded so that it will download to your computer, and then you can just upload it into Google Drive or into your Canvas course. The one extra piece, Google Meet, when you record it, it automatically downloads it into your Google Drive. This Zoom, when you record it, it's going to automatically download it to your computer, which then you can upload into Google Drive, or you can upload into your Canvas course. All right, so let me show you Zoom really quick. So if I'm in zoom.us, then this is where the home page would be, and I would go to my account, and I could go to meetings, okay? And in meetings, I would like to schedule a meeting. And I'm going to name my meeting. We're going to do the same thing. I'm going to say first period AP statistics, right? And this meeting is going to start at the beginning of the semester. So again, we're going to say January 11th. I'm going to set a time for this. I'm going to say 7:55. Oh, we'll say 8 a.m. and we'll say that this one lasts an hour and a half. Okay. And this is a recurring meeting. So it's going to recur. How often do I want it to recur? Do I want it to recur daily, weekly, monthly? We can say daily, and we can say repeat every day. And I want it to end. You can only go through a couple months here, but let's just set it up for the first week. So let's say repeat every day and end after 5 occurrences. So basically, it's just going to happen Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday that first week. Okay. You could set up a password if you want to change your password to make it something easy like AP Stats. You can do that. You can make a waiting room. In a waiting room, meaning like students can't join the meeting before you're ready to begin. I mean, you have to like accept the student in. What that does is it stops students from joining early and saying things that may be inappropriate, or it also stops students maybe that aren't in your class from trying to join as well. So only you can accept that person into the room. You want to allow video for the host. You can decide whether you want your participants, your students, to be able to turn their video on or off. You have the key to do that. And then for meeting options, you can allow participants to join anytime. You can mute them when they enter. That way, if they enter during the middle of the class and you're teaching, you don't hear their microphone or something if they have it on. You can automatically set the meeting to record, which you may not want to do because you may be in the meeting a lot longer than the part you want to record. And you can approve or block entry. Okay, and you can save all that. Now, when we go to the Zoom meeting, I'm going to start this meeting. We're going to click Start Meeting. We're going to open the meetings, and it says we are launching. And now we're in. And we can join with computer audio and all that good stuff. And once we're in the meeting, there's a couple things that you're going to see. You're going to see a participants tab where you can see everybody that's in there. You're going to see a chat where you can see everybody that's in there. The big thing you're going to see is a record button. You see share screen. You can share your screen. You can share a whiteboard. You can share an iPhone. You can share all the tabs that you have, all kinds of stuff. But if you want to write to students, you can put a whiteboard on here. You can work out some problems with them that they can see. 4 plus 4 equals 8. You work out some work with them. You can save that whiteboard so students have access to it and upload it to Canvas later. You can do all kinds of stuff with the screen share feature. But the main thing is when you want to start your direct instruction, your synchronous learning, you hit record. And the record is going to record on the computer. Okay, so now I've hit record. So now this meeting is being recorded. And if I'm not sure if it is or not, I can look up in the top left and you see it says recording and it shows that red button there. I can pause the recording at any time, or I can stop the recording when I'm done. So let's say I'm done teaching my 30-minute segment or so to all my students. I can then stop the recording. When I stop the recording, it will be converted when the meeting ends, and it will download then to my computer. So now I've stopped the recording, but like I would do in Google Meet, I would stay in this meeting. I would talk to students if they needed to chat about anything or any questions they had about the assignment they were working on. I might share my screen and put the assignment up on my screen. So like if the screen was, let's say, swimming schedule, if that was the screen, then I might share that with them. And that would go through there. I might share all kinds of stuff. Like I might say, well, here's the tutorial for today. Let me share this with you. I could share all kinds of things with these students. I might say, okay, here's what you need to do today, and leave that on the screen for them. There's many different things that I could do. But when the time is up for the class ends, then I can then go and end the meeting for all. And when I end the meeting, it's now converting the recording. It's asking me where I want to put it. I can make a folder on my computer just for these Zoom meetings, and I can put it in that folder, and then I can always upload it to my Canvas course. The main thing that I would stress for you guys to get used to doing is to upload these videos that with this live synchronous instruction, upload it to your Canvas course like immediately. It doesn't take long, but as soon as your class ends or as you're beginning the next class, get in the habit of daily uploading these videos to your course as quickly as possible. That way, if a student missed the class for some reason, they can get the video of your direct instruction, and that way it's on there for them. Okay. And because maybe they had a doctor's appointment. There's all kinds of different reasons, but maybe they just couldn't get in that day. But they're still going to be able to see your direct instruction as long as you've uploaded your recording. So it is very important to record that portion where you're going over the lesson for today, the standards that you're wanting them to learn for the day, and then just to leave the meeting open as they're working through the assignment so that we make sure that they're mastering those standards and that we help get them there if they don't understand it or they still have questions. We may open the whiteboard to help explain a problem, and that whiteboard may be on our screen for the students at school and the students at home to see us working out that problem in real time as we do this. And that can happen on Google Meet or Zoom. So the next thing that I'm going to talk about is writing and drawing. So you can use the webcam to show your whiteboard. Like I said, you can use your webcam. Google Meet has a whiteboard, and Zoom both have whiteboards where you can work out examples, problems, write down notes, do all kinds of things. Or you can just use your webcam as audio or as a picture of me like I have in the bottom right here, and you could present your screen to the students, and you could annotate by writing on your screen with like PDF editor or any of the things that you use. Some of you guys use Smartboard to write on your screen or anything, but as you can annotate on your actual computer screen as well. But I do suggest that you use some of those features. Use the whiteboard feature, use the annotate feature, where you can actually show the students what you're doing and how you're doing the problems in real time. And so they can see you working the problems out and follow you step by step as well. So how long, some of you have been asking, and I know it's been a big question, but how long is synchronous instruction? Typically a live lesson, and I'm thinking about the math classroom specifically, but typically a live lesson in my class may be anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes on average. But we understand, that some of you may get really into the lesson, or some kids may have more questions, or this may be a more difficult topic, and it may require longer amounts of time. But students really do need to hear from the teacher and what the class topic is about and how to best meet the current standards that are being taught. So we don't want it to be a really short direct instruction, because then maybe they feel like you're just giving them the directions and then they're doing it by themselves the rest of the class. We'd like for you to, teach the standard, the where we talked about the I do, we do, you do. Show them the standard that they're learning today. How can we incorporate it into the real world situation or anything like that? How is it used in this class? And then do some work on that together before you release them, for the you do part where they do it on their own. Once the live lesson ends, we already talked about this, you can stop your recording and upload it to Canvas for later viewing. I think that's really, really important. And then keep the Meet and the Zoom running for the rest of the class for any questions, comments, or concerns. And we understand you may have to step away from your computer. You should step away from your computer some as you talk to some of the students in your class and voice questions that they have as well. But you can go back and check the chat periodically and see if any students have questions. You can have your volume up on your computer, and it will alert you, as a student, post a question in the chat for either one of these video options. But the goal is now the students at home are going to have a way that they can directly and instantly communicate with their teacher on a daily basis during their regular class period. So no extra work for you as a teacher. No, it doesn't have to be after school. It doesn't have to be in an extra email. They can communicate with you. They have access to you right there during your regular class period. And so with that wraps up my presentation for today. And I hope you guys have learned a little something. And I'm still learning a ton about this. I'm going to be learning every day. So there's a whole lot more to go. But to recap it, synchronous instruction in Lincoln County schools is going to be used with these webcams that are provided to us. We can use Google Meet and Zoom to provide live synchronous instruction where students who aren't in school can join in to our classes, where they can hear our direct instruction, exactly what we're doing during the class period. We can then, end that recording, continue to leave the Google Meet and Zoom open, maybe even have the assignment on the screen for that student that they should be working on. The students can be working on the assignment, ask questions just like the students that would be in the classroom, and we'll be helping to facilitate their learning, but also to interact and engage the student, get to know the student, talk with the student a little bit, one-on-one even, if they need that during these meetings. And that way you feel like we're building more of a relationship with the students even when they aren't directly in our classroom. Again, synchronous instruction, the model for it looks like a 30, 45 minute, somehow half of your class lesson. Then the second half looks like them working independently, but also being able to ask questions based on the lesson or where they're at in the course. So they can feel comfortable getting feedback from you as a teacher. Maybe if you've given a test before, you may want to speak with the student that's online about something that they've missed, where you can give them some feedback. But in all, this will help our students in class, and this will help our students outside of class as well. So when they come back to face-to-face learning, if they've been gone for Thursday and Friday and they're in cohort A, when they come back on Monday, they don't feel like they've been gone that long. They were just there, Friday morning during your class period. Students will need to log in, and you will need to run these just like you would your regular class periods. You can go ahead and set up those meetings and those times to match your school's schedule. And I know there will be a lot of questions as we move through this. There may be some hiccups along the way, but this is something that hopefully is going to enhance our teaching. It's going to it's going to make students more accountable on logging in at a certain time. It's going to make them more accountable for their work and for the instruction they receive, and for communicating with us when there are questions and when things do arise. So all in all, this is going to be a win for our students, and we hope that you will work through this, will ask questions, and then we'll be able to provide the best possible instruction to your students based on the standards that are created and that from your course, and that then they will be able to succeed and get through the course successfully and learn in the process and create a great relationship with their teacher. So thank you for listening to this presentation, and you can reach me at dweaver3 at lincoln.k12.nc.us. My extension is 32422, and thank you for being here. Have a nice day.